For all of you who listen to Submersion and own an Android device, go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcast I want to listen to, select it as a favorite, and have it just a click away. Make sure to select Submersion as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices.
Episode 64.
Woo!
And we got a skeleton crew tonight.
Yeah, real dangerous time on the submarine because it's only the two of us.
It is. And I don't know if we're qualified to run a whole sub by ourselves.
We 100% are not, for sure. Yeah. I'm manning the sonar, basically. That's it. You're steering. Just so you're not steering blind, I'm helping you out. But otherwise, like, if we get attacked, no one's in that torpedo room.
No, all we can do is try to run away. But
right,
that's what you get.
Yeah. But they're missing out on a pretty extra special one because it was a pretty good movie, I gotta say. Right? Didn't you just love this one?
Sure. Wow. We close out our classical movie cycle, which I'm sure we're going to have plenty more classical movies because, as we've been talking about, we're trying to find more and more sub movies for you guys. It's getting harder and harder as we keep going on.
We're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel, like literally TV movie, Eric Roberts level type stuff going on, probably in short order. Because, we've done a lot of these episodes, a lot of movies. We've done a lot of movies with submarines.
Do not worry. We still have quite a few more. And
we got a number.
We know you guys are already 60 in, so we know you're stuck with us, and you're here for the long haul.
That's what
we really care about.
We're 100% stuck in this. And, I mean, they're making a lot submarine movies every day. I mean, probably, how many do you think they release every year? 30 or 40?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, probably. So, I mean, it's a replenishing number, but we're doing so many. We're going so hot, so fast and furious.
Yeah. Hey, there's another one with a sub.
That's true. You're right. Fast 8, right? Eighth Fat one, Fate of the Furious. I think that was the one where they
Fate of the Furious.
They ran away from a submarine or whatever. There's still a whole bunch of them. It's just we gotta let the listeners know just how hard it is and how hard we're working for them. You know?
Yeah, you guys are worth it.
Worth what? Oh, dive!
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Second Floor Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, Alex the Mustard Man, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Brain, Kyle El Capitan, and Zach the Backbone present Submersion.
And here we are, episode 64, Operation Pacific.
Operation Pacific. I thought for a second you had called our listeners worthless.
No,
you said they were worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm less excited. I was going to say stick it to him, Kyle, when you called him worthless, because
Yeah,
but
we're cool. It's like when a musician flips off the crowd or something like that, and everyone's like, "Yeah!" People love to be verbally abused by their podcast host,
right? And so we just wanted. I was like pretty excited, and then when I realized you said "worth it," I was like, "Oh,
sorry, didn't mean to disappoint." But
anyways, so this week is Operation Pacific. What was it? 1951, I believe, 1951 film.
Sure.
Starring the one and only John Wayne. I actually don't think this is the only submarine film he did. Actually, I know for a fact it's not the only submarine film he did. So we might see him again in the future. Yeah, remember, I think you have it, In Harm's Way. He's in that.
Oh, yes, I just got that. Him and a little Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, the only thing we don't know about that one yet is just how much submarine there is.
Is there actually a submarine in it?
Right. It could be just like one of those cases of someone being like, and you arrived by submarine, but you never actually see the submarine or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know. We'll find out.
We will watch it for you guys.
Yeah. So we got John Wayne, playing Duke E. Gifford in this, executive officer of the Thunderfish. And then the captain of the Thunderfish, John T. Pop Perry, played by Ward Bond. And then the love interest, the one and only, Patricia Neal, playing LTJG, Mary Stewart. Now, when that name came up on the screen, I was like, no way. Because I knew Patricia Neal.
You did?
In real life, yeah. She lived on where I grew up, Martha's Vineyard. She lived there for a long time. I mean, she lived there with Roald Dahl when she was married to Roald Dahl in the 80s, and then lived there until she passed away not that long ago, actually. So she lived there for a few decades, and she played tennis at the place that I worked over the summers.
Really?
Yeah, and so she would come in with her foursome, and they'd play doubles, and they always played the same time. So I knew that they needed to get signed up for that time and stuff like that. They were nice enough. I mean, they were fine. I didn't know who she was. I had no idea who she was. At one point, someone was like, "Do you know who that is? That's Patricia Neal." And I was like, "I don't. What?" Yeah, obviously that's Mrs. Neal. What?
Was she any good at tennis?
They're all good for their age, I guess. Yeah, they were elderly ladies.
Her versus Andre Agassi, who wins?
Andre Agassi now, or Andre Agassi at the same age that Patricia Neal was playing when I knew her?
Make them now, so like they're comparable in age to when you knew her. Does that make any sense?
No, that made no sense. So let's say, okay, how about this? She is 60, Andre Agassi is 95.
Okay.
Patricia Neal.
Oh
yeah.
Superstar. Sweet.
Yeah, so we just gotta wait. We gotta wait until Andre Agassi is that old. By that time, we should have the technology to resurrect Patricia Neal, and we could.
She's 60.
Oh yeah, and then I don't know, obviously, and then we can actually play this out.
Good. All right. Whatever. We should probably get into this.
We probably should, but we can really stretch out. It's only us. Like we can really stretch out and have this go. It's gonna go 40, 50 minutes. Buckle up, listeners. We're going an hour probably.
Yay. No, we will not.
We will not.
So this movie opens up, and
no submarine to be seen.
Scrolling text, and I thought, right. I know where I've seen this before. Star Wars totally ripped this off. It's the same exact type of scrolling text,
and the exact same words too.
Yeah, and
I was like, what?
Far, far away in Hawaii. You're like, what? What is going on?
It wasn't Hawaii. Was it Hawaii?
Weren't they at Pearl Harbor?
Well, eventually.
No.
When we opened.
No. So, anyways, after the text, it's amazing. We open up in a jungle on the coast.
Yeah. Yes.
And our boys are doing a search and rescue mission.
Yeah, no submarine to be seen, but they're waiting. They're like, where is Duke? They got to be coming soon. Oh, man. Where are they? And all of a sudden, we see coming out of the jungle, strapping young man, quote unquote young man, John Wayne, carrying a tiny little baby in his arms. He's basically like Kyle with a tiny little baby in his arms.
Yep.
And leading a couple nuns and a whole bunch of children out of the jungle to safety.
Mm-hmm. And this is, I guess, introduction to probably one of my favorite characters you've ever seen in a movie, because this little baby's name is Butch.
Straight up. I'm pretty sure Duke named them on the spot. They were like, no, actually, he already has a name. His name is Theodore. And it's like, no, his name is Butch.
Oh, what a great name for a baby. Oh, what's his baby's so cute. What's his name? Butch. Like,
right.
Really? That's what you went with?
And so, anyway, they're picking them all up. They were able to rescue all these people. One person's a little late coming, so they send off all the nuns and the children in the boats, and they're like, go to the submarine. And they're like, where's the last guy? Where is he? And he comes stumbling out of the jungle. And I thought this guy was going to turn out to be a bad guy, because he comes out dragging a Japanese soldier.
Yeah,
who's been knocked unconscious. And they're like, we told you not to get into trouble. And it's like, I didn't get into trouble. He tripped over me. I thought this guy was going to turn out to be someone who ruins everything by going against orders and stuff like that. But then they just kind of laugh it off. They're like, okay, put him under a tree. Let's get back to the submarine.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I
thought they were going to just straight up slit this dude's throat and just.
I thought so too. Yeah.
That would have been
I thought it was
honorable thing.
Yeah. I thought they were going to say Oh yeah, and I always like the guy would be like, "I want to kill him," and they'd have to like stop him from doing it. I was really ready for some action right away. But they start off kind of like a lot of these older films do, kind of like what we had with was it Torpedo Run that was kind of religious, or was it? Yeah,
no,
it was Torpedo Run.
Destination Tokyo.
Sorry, Destination Tokyo. That's right. So Destination, just like that one, this one actually has a lot of religious stuff going on, and not only have they just brought the, kind of the nuns out here, but that's it's being played up a lot in that regard. It's kind of like, sister, get onto the thing. So like you kind of have it going on. I was ready for action, but they really started off much more with this religious stuff.
Much more nunny than you would ever think.
Way more nuns than I had anticipated. And I thought that was going to be season 4.
Nun movies?
Really. So, well, yeah. Sister Act 2. I mean, we watched those probably a number of times for the Nun season.
Yeah.
We're probably already scraping the bottom. I guess there's a lot of nunsploitation out there, would be my guess.
Wow, that's a good word.
I think there probably is. I don't think I made that up. I think that's an actual word.
Oh, I like it. Wow. So anyways, they get everybody into the Thunderfish, and we just kind of see life going on around there. Kids are going absolutely nuts, running all over the place. Nuns are trying to corral them in.
Submariners are loving it, though. They're having a grand old time taking care of these kids. They're getting into all kinds of hijinks. At one point, even they kind of run along a ship that they want to destroy. They're like, we got like some torpedoes left, even though we have all these nuns and children on board. Let's crush this thing. Oh, and the kids are kind of like getting in the way and like about to push buttons and stuff. I was like, is this really the time that you should? But I guess it was wartime, right? So you got to take every opportunity to sink some boats.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that was one of the duds, or it explodes halfway there.
Yeah, because they fire the torpedo. And at first I wasn't sure if this was just because of the time era that we're watching this movie, that maybe the effects weren't good. But you just see this big explosion. I was like, did they get the ship? I don't know. Yeah. But then we find out that it just misfired in the middle of its path.
Right. Yeah. And then this is something we can mention here, which is this is a very cheaply made, poorly made movie. It kind of piggybacked on the back of a lot of other war movies. So almost everything you see that's war action is just from newsreel footage from actual war.
Yeah. Yep.
And then all the miniatures and stuff look like shit comparatively to what we've seen. Like when we watch something like Destination Tokyo or Torpedo Run or those kind of things, we've been kind of amazed at the model work and the different stuff they do. This all looked like garbage. Like all of it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not good effects at all.
You could tell with the miniature work, they were shooting in a pool.
Yeah.
It was crystal clear, and there was a solid bottom and a side.
You'd see a side. Yeah, you'd see the side of the pool. It was crazy. I don't know. Anyways, it explodes halfway there. I couldn't tell whether that was supposed to be like the kids that screwed it up, but no, it turns out to be something that's kind of mentioned in a bunch of these war films. There was a long time where they kind of struggled because we had to ramp up war so quickly in the Pacific. We really struggled, the United States and the Allies, with having torpedoes explode correctly. So there's a lot of duds. That were shot off, and it was a real big problem in the Pacific, even to the point where I think the book Run Silent, Run Deep has a whole section where he's on land he's working on that, or instead of being on a submarine, he's kind of working on that torpedo thing. It's more detail in the book than the movie in that case.
Well, that will happen later in this movie, but
right, exactly.
Our boys get to Pearl Harbor, drop the nuns off, and the kids.
Oh, one thing is when the thing explodes, they do get depth charged, and that's when I was like, oh shit, you got these like kids and nuns into like a really bad situation. But then the baby's like sleeping, so they're like, see, everyone be like, Butch
is such a hard ass. Like, yeah, he pretty much is.
Yeah. So anyways, as they're heading towards Pearl Harbor, the captain is like, hey, you gonna see Mary Stewart? You heard she's now in Pearl Harbor. And he's like, no, I'm not seeing Mary Stewart. They always call her by her full name. No, I'm not seeing Mary Stewart, my ex-wife. And he kind of explains about
John Wayne's ex-wife.
Yeah, it's his ex-wife. It's John Wayne's ex-wife. And the captain's clearly like, hey, you should really meet up with her. Wasn't she a great gal? I loved her. And I can't believe you guys split up and blah, blah, blah. And here it's implied that, oh, no, it just didn't work out. And I was on submarines. I'm still on submarines. Like, it doesn't work very well. And I wasn't even there when my baby was born. And I wasn't even there when my baby died. And we're like, oh. And it's kind of the sad story of, they couldn't handle this tragedy and him being away in that time, and they split up, even though they still were in love with each other. But they had to.
They were, but they had to go their separate ways. And now
so he's like, no.
A little demon has wedged his way in between Duke and what's her name again?
Mary Stewart.
Mary Stewart. Bob.
Yeah. So Bob Perry. So that's actually the captain's brother, little brother, Bob. And so the captain does a little trickery. He's like, I'm going to send out this thing as we head into Pearl Harbor. I'll send a note saying Mary Stewart's got to be the nurse who comes and like gets the baby and stuff. And Mary Stewart talks to her boss and is like, no. And the boss is like, yeah, come on. You meet him on your terms, woman power, feminism, et cetera, et cetera. And she's basically like, I'm going to say you're sick and you're not going. And she's like, thank you. And so, yeah, so then they are there. The captain is totally expecting that Mary Stewart's going to be around, but they're not, but she's not. And also, what was the other thing that happens in this scene? The nuns say like goodbye, and there's a whole thing of being like,
yeah, there's some really, just like weird stuff there. But eventually Duke goes to the infirmary to see little baby Butch.
Yeah, so he's not even going there to see Mary Stewart. He's like, I want to see my boy Butch, baby. Literally, baby. And then goes up to this baby and is like, hey, what's up, Butch? And the nurse is like, get out of here. You can't just like go around stealing babies. And he was like, I wasn't stealing this baby. And they're like, then they get this whole prolonged thing about him stealing a baby.
Yeah, it was really awkward.
Yeah, they go for like 20 minutes just like litigating this whole thing about whether he was stealing the baby or not. And then Mary Stewart is there, and they just like start making out.
Dude, they are hitting it off real hard. They're picking right up where they left off before the divorce. You know what I'm talking about? Wink, wink.
Straight, yeah, for sure. They're smooching so hard.
Yes.
And then he's like, "Let's have dinner," and she's like, "I actually kind of." Yeah, get wine. He's like, oh, then maybe we'll do dancing afterwards or something. And she's like, no, I got plans though. And he's like, what? And he's like, that's when she reveals, oh, hey, I'm going out with this guy, Bob. It's like, wait, Pop's little brother? I haven't seen him since he was like basically like a little teeny weeny garbage kid that I like messed up his hair. And like, well, you can't mess up his hair now
because he's like 7
and then this
feet
whole
tall.
Thing, he's like huge. And what is that? Then they meet up later.
They go to dinner. He gets the wine, although I don't think he's really expecting Bob to show up.
No, not for this. So he's expecting that Mary Stewart will come and then leave later for her date or whatever. And I think he also expects like, I'm just going to woo her so hard and we're going to be making out like super hard that she won't want to go on this date with Bob anyways. And also he's like a little tyke, whatever.
Yeah. And so they're all sitting down at a very tense dinner, and it's really weird. It'd be like if somebody's wife was sitting right in front of me and I was actively hitting on her, trying, like not even being shy about what I was doing. It was really, really odd.
Yeah, it was a big competition going on. Pop's trying to, it's funny because like Pop goes off to dance with Mary Stewart. He's like, you need to get back with Duke.
Which is
hilarious.
What? Because like, you're throwing your brother under the bus?
Right. At the same time, his little brother is talking to John Wayne, manly man. Also weird that he was married to Mary Stewart because Mary Stewart looks like she's pretty young.
Yes.
And he literally looks like he's carved out of wood. Like he's been petrified. Like a, I don't know what, like I guess that he was
before
50.
He was a boy.
Right. I guessed he was 50. He was actually 44 when he filmed this. I think he probably was just living a little harder than the average person.
He was only 44.
I know. Right.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah. Anyways, so they're talking and the kid's basically like, or this guy, he's an Air Force pilot now. He's a kind of like a hero. And he's basically like, I've been a badass my entire life, but because I'm from the same town as you, no one ever talks about me. He's like, when I was like pitching a perfect game or something, or when I was scoring the game winning touchdown in high school, you were off, doing whatever. And then when I was starting off my career or hitting a home run in Stanford, everyone was talking about you on the submarine. And when I started bombing, you all of a sudden did some heroic stuff with your submarine. Like I've always in your shadow. And then meanwhile, his brother's over there being like, yeah, fuck my brother. Like go actually you get back with Duke. Like this guy sucks. My little brother sucks. It's like, yeah, this guy sounds like his life kind of sucks.
Yeah. He's just living in the shadows of Duke. He probably wishes he was as cool as Baby Butch, but he's never gonna be. But anyway, yeah, this goes on for a while. Basically, he's like, "Fucking suck," because I'm not as good as you. And eventually, push comes to shove, and Bob tells everybody that him and Mary Stewart are getting married.
And he's like, Mary, are you going to marry this man? And she's like, I just don't know. And then he's like, give me a straight answer. And then she's like, get out of here. And she gets kind of angry because she's like, this is my life. It's not yours. So like, you can't tell me what to do. You're my ex-husband. You're not my husband.
Yeah.
And she kind of storms off to go hang with Bob a little bit more. And so they say their goodbyes and at the house, Bob
do they?
No, Bob and Mary Stewart. He drops her off, walks her back to her house.
She does not
drops her off.
kiss him.
No, so things are kind of like not looking great for Bob.
And guess who's lurking in the bushes?
Yeah, like a real creepster. Yeah. Is Duke. He's got some flowers, I guess. And he's like, hey, how about we smooch in this darkness over here? And she's like, creepy, okay. And then, but they they're kind of just like talking things out. And all of a sudden they get interrupted because they're told there's like a big emergency with the whole crew of the submarine. And he's like, hey, Mary, I got to go. And she's like, I understand because, the military stuff. It's kind of hammering home this idea of
and you've always put it
no matter
first, what, I will never be number one in your eyes. It's always
really
submariners.
That message.
Yeah. So they get to the jail and the constable or whoever it is talking to him. He's like, look, we got your whole crew here. They were causing a big ruckus. He's like, how do you know they were my crew? Show them to me. And then they all start walking these guys out and they're like, they look like they're drunk as shit. They're missing shirts. They got luau's. And then literally at this point, John Wayne does a face palm and is just like, fuck, those are my guys.
So they're like, okay, you're going to have to pay like $200. And they're like, okay, we couldn't even get that money if we took everyone's money. And you're going to pay $200 and I can't help you, but like they're going to get like written up or whatever. And he kind of swings this deal. And I think the entire scene was supposed to be, first of all, the crew loves him because he gets them out of jams. But also, like, everyone just kind of like he kind of swings the situation that looks real bad completely around to the point where the people who are complaining, the Native Hawaiians who are complaining about the ruckus, are like apologizing to him profusely. To be sorry. Oh, we'll give you free stuff. Next time we'll have a luau. You'll be invited. And
because he basically was going to rat on him for having like bootleg liquor.
Yeah, so they're not supposed to. It's bootleg. They have basically bootleg moonshine. The Hawaiian moonshine, they had given it to the crew, which is like against the law. You're not supposed to, serve that to active duty military, probably.
Only supposed to give them the best of the best. And you know what was also really weird here is when John Wayne is trying to work his magic and the guy's like, I can't let this go. You guys are screwing up so much. Like, this is ridiculous. I need to make an example out of you. And John Wayne basically says, hey, I don't know if you heard or not, but we brought some nuns back.
Oh, and yeah, that's right. Yeah,
this guy, I don't know if he's got some kind of fetish for nuns or what, but he's like, wait.
Exploitation, baby.
Did you just say nuns? He's like,
tell me where they are and I will let you go.
Yeah. He's like, you got my rosary that I can double as anal beads? You're like, oh my God. What are we?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Bleep that out, Kyle. Bleep that out.
It's crazy stuff, dude. Hey, this is John Wayne movie. We're not making it up. It's hardcore stuff.
We aren't. Yeah. And so they head back out to sea, right? That's pretty much.
Oh, dude, because guess what? Fucking shore leave is canceled. Get it out of here.
Yeah. Shore leave's canceled. They head back out to sea. They're kind of cruising around. Now they have kind of the opposite problem with their torpedoes. They keep on shooting stuff. They got like all kinds of ships to destroy. And they hit the side of the boat.
Whoa. First off, we have a torpedo montage where our boys are just absolutely crushing these Japanese ships, just like one after another. You see the boys sailing for a second, wham, torpedo in the water, boom, ship blows up. And then after a couple times of that, then we see one just hit the side of a ship and boop, it just bounces off.
Right off, yeah. And they kind of hint at something that was really true, which was that they would often have it be duds when you hit straight on, like perfect shots. If it was a little askew, that it actually would work. And so I guess while they were trying to figure out what to do, American ships or submarines were shooting torpedoes purposely poorly because it was a better way to make sure that they would explode.
Interesting.
That's like a true story.
So this ship that they hit with the dud, all of a sudden takes down its Japanese flag, throws up the white flag,
And if we know anything from what we've seen, we'd be like, don't trust that.
Yeah. Why would you do
Come on,
that?
bullshit.
But everybody on the sub is like, well, maybe we damaged it. Maybe they're going down. Let's go check it out.
So they head up. They start cruising towards the ship. All of a sudden, they pull away some boxes, and there's just like a big old gun.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, shit.
What's up, Thunderfish?
And so they're like, yeah. So then they start shooting. They start shooting back at them, blah, blah, blah. And things start going poorly. So they got to dive. And the captain, before he can get into the boat, gets totally owned by this.
Poppy, man.
Oh yeah, he gets riddled with bullets, just riddled with bullets. And he, with his last dying breath, he's like, dive the submarine. And then with his second last dying breath, he pulls out his dick and he's like, this is the last time. I'm sorry.
And at first, it's completely erect, but he dies when it goes.
Yeah, as the water comes up, the last thing you see is this Captain Dick just above the water. And you're like, everyone salutes it because it's like a little flagpole.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really sad.
Anyways,
Saddest thing we've ever seen in a movie yet.
They are really upset about this. And so they go down and they're getting some depth charges and stuff like that. But John Wayne decides to pull a little cowboy shit. And he's like, we're going to surface up and we're going to take these motherfuckers out. And so he kind of like swings around, surfaces the ship. They all run out. They start blasting away, crushing them. And then they're like, we're going to ram it. And so they take their submarine and just ram the shit out of their boat and sink that shit. And the front of the submarine's all damaged and they got flooding and stuff like that. But they kind of handle all that stuff and they just very, very slowly head back towards Pearl Harbor. And everyone's real sad and the captain's died. But it's also one of those things where it's like they got a long, long road ahead of them of just trying to make sure that they can get the submarine back to
functional, back
the
to
base because it's so damaged. Oh yeah, I mean it basically is damaged to the point where they're not even sure they could make it back, but they're going really, really slowly.
Yeah, and basically when they get back, John Wayne says, "Hey, Poppy's dead. I'm the captain now."
Right.
But this would not have been a problem had the torpedoes just not misfired. We had a couple of these, and then we just get this whole long scene of them testing basically new firing pins and torpedoes.
Yeah. So they have like an investigation. They conclude, not your fault. Everything's great. And they say like, we'd rather you go back to the United States. It's been like traumatic and all this stuff. And he kind of swings it around to be like, no, I want to stay. And so that the deal they make is, well, you'll stay while they are doing repairs. You'll figure out this torpedo shit.
Yep.
And they have this whole thing where they figure it all out.
And it's
not particularly interesting.
Highly dangerous because they are dropping huge torpedoes within 6 inches of a guy sitting down, a group of people, and they keep showing the same clip of it dropping. It's like, come on.
Even to the point where when they succeed, I'm not sure what the difference was. I don't know what they saw.
Loud pop.
It was a louder pop than usual because it seemed like they were just keep on dropping this thing, and I was like, wait, are they waiting for it to explode? Because that would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna kill like
standing right there,
40 people around this thing.
Yeah. But at the same time, they also have another religious scene. They have Pop's like funeral thing where Duke does like a little, like literally they pray in the middle of this movie, like a full prayer. And he kind of talks with Mary Stewart a little bit more, right? And Bob's like real angry because his brother died and blames Duke.
He says, dude, you dove and you left my brosif up there to die. And he's like, I did do that. Sorry.
And Mary she ends up being kind of like angry at Duke because she wants to help him like grieve for his best friend, his BFF. And, but he won't let her. He's like, I'm a man. I don't need a woman to help me grieve. Get out of here. And he's like cries and like runs away. And she's like, okay, this, you won't let me in. Like I need to be able to help you grieve or else you're not going to be there fully for me.
Help you.
Right.
That's where the line comes from.
Yeah. So like when they finally figure out how to fix the torpedo, he goes to Mary Stewart and is like, we're going dancing. I got some fucking champagne. I got a big old box of condoms over there. And you know what that means. Yeah. And she's like, no. You didn't let me in when I wanted to help you grieve. No. I'm not just here to be around for celebrating and doing whatever. And then she's like, but I will take that box of condoms. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then
she's like, hey,
like safe sex, everyone.
Oh, these are smaller than the ones Bob uses. He's like, no,
oh shit,
the hell.
It's like, that's not true. And so
they head back out now, really.
Well, yeah, and even Mary Stewart's funny because she rejects him, and then her boss is like, "You blew it."
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of funny.
That guy, he's so banging.
Yeah, that 55-year-old man is so hot.
She's like, wait, he's only 44. She's like, holy shit, maybe you should rethink this. Don't do it.
And so, so then they head back out to sea. They got these like banging torpedoes in there. They got everything up the wazoo, ready to crush some Japanese.
And then don't worry, right before we really do anything, we meet up with another U.S. ship and we get an exchange of movies.
Yeah.
And there's this,
and including Destination Tokyo, baby.
Yeah, comes on board the Thunderfish. And this scene is really long, really awkwardly long. They rig up these pulleys between the ship and the sub, and they're like tying these movies in. Hey, movies back then are not just little DVD cases or a flash drive.
They weren't?
It's like a huge briefcase. And they got to float that thing on, not float it, but, get it on over to the other place.
Chuck it like a football.
Yeah. They should have.
And so then they put on the thing. Actually, they have a scene of them watching Destination Tokyo, which I found kind of funny. Oh yeah, we're right there.
Dude, we're there.
We only got the last 20 minutes of the movie, but we should do an episode where we just review Destination Tokyo, but as seen through this film.
We could do that. It would be very short.
I think it's only 5 seconds. They only see, maybe like a couple seconds of it, but it'd be good. Good episode. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm already reviewing it. Great episode.
Yeah, it's really good. And so they watched this movie for a little bit, and they literally, and you're wondering, you're like, what was the point of any of that? Why did we just see that? And then they surface the next day, and what do they see floating? Well, they find like an oil slick in a debris field, and they find the movie that they gave to the U.S. ship. Uh-oh.
And they're like, someone's got to pay. They're like, revenge time.
And dude, they start dishing it out.
Oh yeah. They're like, not gonna be warm, but they find a whole Japanese fleet heading somewhere. And they're like, oh, send out a message. They're like, oh, but that would alert them. They'll know we're here. And like, oh, they'll know we're here in short order. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
And so they set up all the torpedoes. They start launching shit. They're destroying like all kinds of boats. All these boats are getting destroyed.
Oh man, they take down like a dozen in a matter of like 5 minutes.
And they buckle down and they're like, time for some depth charges. And they get a whole bunch of depth charges. They're getting rocked all over the place, a couple leaks here and there, but they take care of it. It's always funny in these movies where sometimes it'll just be like, for convenience, it'll be like, they're moving, they couldn't find us, they're moving away. Whereas other times it seems like they have to spend like 36 hours getting depth charge. Right. It seemed like after 5 seconds, the boats lost them. And they came back up and everyone's kind of gone, but they've left behind a damaged aircraft carrier. And they're like, oh, baby, that's what we want. We want to take out this aircraft carrier. That's like the gold. That's what everyone's like, super into. So they they send off their last of the torpedoes, the last one, and totally crush it. And everyone gets to look at it and they're admiring it. And then because they saved the day, they end up on lifeguard duty for a big battle. So they kind of like damaged the fleet as it was heading to intercept a bunch of Americans' ships and stuff. They damaged them, alerted Americans of what was going on. They were able to go. Now they're kind of heading around helping people. And who do they pick up out of the water?
Oh man, our boy Bob.
Yeah, our boy Bob. Bobby is floating around like a bozo. They jump in their boat. They go after him. Who is it? The captain or the Cobb is killed. Junior, I think that was the guy's name.
Because a Japanese fighter is flying in, and it starts attacking the submarine and the survivors.
Right, and so 2 people get killed, but one of the XO, the new XO, this like baby-faced young guy, he's able to get Bob on board. And then Duke, when he's getting everyone to safety, he's the last one on deck and gets shot. He gets kind of like shot in the shoulder or whatever, and they pull him in. They're able to knock out the plane, and then he gets in. He's injured, and he kind of like curls up to hunker down for going back to Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, because that worked super great for Poppy, but they did get Duke back in the submarine. And one of the things, so the young guy who got killed, this is really weird. They just like divvy up his supplies or his belongings, and then they're like, "Oh, look at this!" And they pull out a Confederate flag. You're like,
yeah, why? That was real weird.
Why is this even in this movie? This makes no sense.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I was trying to think of that as well. If there was some historical reason why they wanted to point out specifically that this kid who was from Georgia, whose family had fought for the Confederacy, was it supposed to be some kind of like they fought for the Confederacy, but now he's fighting? Like it was all like, I don't know. It felt very strange, almost like this honorable Confederacy type of thing.
It was weird.
That is, honestly quite damaging, that kind of revisionist history that's been done. So like, I also found that very strange.
It was weird
that they went out of their way to be like, in this honorable soul, and they hold up a Confederate flag. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Weird. Great.
Yeah.
Cool. So anyways, they return
and dude,
they get back to Pearl Harbor, and who's waiting for him?
Dude,
our boy, our girl,
Mary Stewart.
Mary. And what are they going to go do?
Dude, the wedding is back on. And now the wedding planning process starts. And they're out picking out invitations. And
wow.
Yeah.
What kind of invitations did they get?
They got the cheapest ones they could.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. And hopefully the glue isn't too toxic when she's licking all those envelopes.
Oh, a little Seinfeld reference. So what are they spending the money on? So they saved on invitations in order to what? Have like a banging band or something?
It's John Wayne, so he wanted some horses there, you know?
Yeah, he wanted a cowboy theme going on. Mary Stewart not so into it, but it's his day, so he gets what he wants.
Yeah. And that's Operation Pacific, man.
Well, but you didn't even mention they went to also adopt Baby Butch.
Yeah, Baby Butch. How could we forget Baby Butch?
Baby Butch is there, ring bearer / best man / walking her down the aisle / what else does he do in this wedding? He's a DJ. Duh. Baby Butch is all over the place. He's all over that wedding. Let's just say that.
Baby Butch is nuts. That guy can dance. Remember the Blockbuster baby that would always dance? That's Baby Butch.
You're talking about like the Ally McBeal baby? The dancing baby?
Is that Ally McBeal? I thought that was Blockbuster.
I think it's all things. I think the dancing baby has always been and always will be.
Just the 90s.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Holy Ghost. It's all around at all times.
Oh, okay.
Bringing it back, religious, all circle.
There you go.
And that's Operation Pacific. Hooray!
Yay! We didn't go too far over, but
no, I think that was actually quite perfect. Given that it's going to be, in the end with two hosts, it's going to be a little shorter. So only like an hour and 45 minutes, probably in the end.
Obviously. For ratings, I guess I can start.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like we mentioned, this movie did not look good. We literally just watched some movies from the 40s that look better than this movie.
Way better. This was actually like, I don't know. I can talk about it when it's my turn. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. And also, when the Thunderfish was out and about, they reminded me of playing video games when I was younger, and the AI was just always like cheating. Like they would be so accurate. No matter what you were doing, they could hit you. They had no problem at all, just absolutely crushing any ship that was put in front of them. There was no challenge. These guys made it look like it was just a cakewalk being in a submarine. It was just a total joke. Like, we're invincible, and we can even ram ships and take them down. Like it was crazy. And I'm not a huge fan of like the whole love story that was going on throughout this entire movie.
That's a good point, because there's been other ones where the love story has been as prominent or bigger, but I felt like this one was kind of horrible.
It was. I mean, even Crash Dive, with how like weird and forced that guy was, at least that one. That was
that was actually like kind of an entertaining love story. I mean, even though he was kind of like a creepster scumbag.
Yeah. Well, he would do funny things, like I'm gonna bring you back to my parents' house, and
this one was like super. was almost like they were writing it themselves as they went along. Like John Wayne's like, and then we make out. And then she's like, and then I'm also engaged to this other guy. And it's like, none of this actually makes any sense.
No.
I actually don't understand their relationship at all.
Like, how did Bob not just walk over and punch John Wayne right in the mouth? He's like, dude, I just saw you kissing my fiance. But
yeah, they're quite
chummy.
Nice about that. Yeah.
Yeah. There was another thing that we didn't even mention. This scene really stood out to me because it really threw me off. So in the middle of the battle, when they're sinking like that entire Japanese fleet, the new XO is allowed to look out the periscope and see a ship blowing up. And John Wayne's like, hey, go on and take a look. And there's this music playing or whatever.
Yeah, this is hands down like the funniest scene.
It was so
that I think
weird.
we've seen in anything.
And
There's always like this crescendo of music. It's like music, and then what does he say that stops the music cold?
I don't know.
He's
But
like, I've never seen it. He says, I never. Oh, they shot down a submarine. They destroyed a submarine. And he's like, oh, check it out through the periscope. There's this swelling music, and then he goes, wow, I've never seen a submarine taken out by a torpedo. Dead stop to the music,
hard
and they
cut.
just stare at each other.
Yes,
They're just staring at each other.
The weirdest thing I've ever seen. I don't know why that was in there.
And then legitimately seconds spent of them just staring at each other after the music is stopped on a dime when he says the words, I've never seen a submarine taken out by a torpedo. They wait, beat, beat, beat. And then they go, okay. And then they just smash cut away from it. And I was like,
back to them like crushing
what
more
is
stuff.
this?
It was so weird. And
yeah, I laughed out louder and I watched it again when it came up. I forgot about that too. Yeah,
I thought
that was hilarious.
that maybe my video was like skipping or something. I didn't know what was going on. But then, no, I kept like cutting between them like, what is this? This is the weirdest thing. Like, it was so
very strange,
out of place for everything else.
You know what? Actually,
going on.
I will say, even though I'm not going to give this a very high rating, I will say if people want to see something hilarious, they should watch that scene from it. So there's like these tiny moments that are quite funny that make this maybe a little bit worth watching, just because that is unbelievable that is in this movie.
It's so weird. But all things aside, I mean, it was still better than some of the trash that we've watched.
Right. Yeah, that's probably true.
But it's not great. We put it in this classical movie cycle. It's really just based on age. This one I don't think is super great. I wouldn't recommend. I don't know. I'm gonna give it like a what can I even say? 4.75.
It's funny that you did that because I think I did exactly the same thing you were doing, where I had a number in my mind and then I was like, oh no, it can't be that high. It can't be that high. I kept on lowering the number until I hit a spot where I'm like, yeah, that feels about right.
Right.
Because I'm going to come in at a 4.
Oh, okay.
I think it's poorly made. It's honestly just not a good movie. I watch a lot of bad movies, and this is a bad movie. It's kind of sometimes hard to tell the difference between good and bad movies from different eras, because I think that there was just a lot of movies being made back then. So it's like hundreds and hundreds of films were released every year. So you have a wide range of kind of like good stories, badly made, good stories. I think this is probably closer to being a badly made, semi-good story from this
maybe
studio
even
era.
semi-good.
But they were just like churning. They were like churning these things out. So you get a wide range of kind of quality between like the top tier A+ and A and B. And this is kind of like a lower tier B movie, kind of just one of those war movies they made back in the day. But yeah, poorly made. The story itself is a very strange kind of like way they put it together. And yeah, I just didn't look at something like Destination Tokyo, which I think hits a lot of the same beats that this one has. Same thing with Run Silent, Run Deep. I think hits a lot of the same beats, but is done so much better than this one that you can tell where it's like, no, this is not good. It's just not good.
And I mean, you want to like it because it's got John Wayne in it, and you think, oh man, this should be good because he's John Wayne. This should be a good movie, and it's not.
The quality is just not there, and I actually think it could have had a tighter story that would have helped, but then it got bogged down with all the stuff that they did back in the 50s, like have these long scenes of really weirdly constructed love scene and like a bunch of religion centric scenes to kind of have that in there. And so then when you boil down to the real like storyline, it ends up being very basic and not very interesting.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. Should I get some
trivia? Let's do it.
Oh, I got a lot of trivia, actually. So John Wayne and Patricia Neal did not get along during filming. Apparently, and this was something that was in a different thing. According to her, I think must have been from some interview or something. She said she was annoyed by his treatment of a gay publicity man that was working on the picture, which is in line with kind of what's known about John Wayne as being kind of like this macho man guy who, held a lot of views that nowadays would be quite frowned upon. So nearly 14 years later, they had reconciled and they worked together again in Harm's Way, 1965. So she's also in that one as well. So we'll see both of them again because that's a submarine film. She noted that he had mellowed a lot. He already had and was battling lung cancer at that point. So he was pretty ill. And so she noted that he was a lot kind of just like mellow. During filming, and this is a crazy one too. She must have written a autobiography or had like a long form interview because there's these kind of crazy facts. She said, or during filming, Gary Cooper visited the set to persuade Patricia Neal. He was married, but Patricia Neal was having an affair with him to abort his child because she was pregnant.
You talking like Gary Cooper from The Patriot?
I think that's right. You're not talking about not The Patriot starring Mel Gibson. Wait, Gary Cooper couldn't have possibly been in that. Gary Cooper must have died long ago.
Dude, that guy's name is Gary Cooper, 100%.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, Gary Cooper!
But no, probably not that Gary Cooper. I'm talking about Gary Cooper, the famous movie star from like the 40s and 50s.
Oh, anyways. Shoot. All right, I'll figure it out. It's probably not Gary Cooper.
So anyways... It 100% is not. So, okay, the movie was filmed on a low budget. We could barely tell. So all the shots of the submarine ships and action scenes were stock footage from World War II.
Oh.
John Wayne was dissatisfied with the finished film. Well,
it's Chris Cooper.
Yeah, no, I actually was going to guess that, but then I was like, how could you possibly think Chris Cooper visited a set of a 1951 film to persuade his mistress, Patricia Neal, to have an abortion?
I guess that's the year he was born. So it's possible, Jamie.
Okay. So John Wayne was dissatisfied with the finished film, believing it was overlong and contained too much romance. He also was opposed to casting of Patricia Neal, whom he felt was too young at the age of 24 for the role as his ex-wife, which is true, but also funny because he is far too old to be cast as an XO/captain in World War II.
So he...
Like XOs and captains in World War II were way
We got a little double standard going on here.
All right, so it's decided to use far fewer racist terms than usual compared to something, let's say, as Sands of Iwo Jima in 1941, because at the time that the film was being made, Japan was being used as an Allied base during the Korean War. So they were like, you know what? Let's turn these racist slurs down a scooch.
Well,
yeah.
I guess it worked out. Yeah.
Baby steps. Yeah. All right. So the problem with the submarine torpedoes shown in the movie are accurate. A poorly designed and tested firing pin could malfunction on a good hit. Poor hits could often produce more reliable explosions. So what they were shown here was actually true, and the way that it was solved was similar, but not performed by a submarine crew. It was obviously performed by some engineers or something.
Right. That's what I was amazed when they said, hey, you're the captain. You got to go test these torpedoes. Most time you'd be like,
they wouldn't have done that. Not on
what? I'm not the one who designed the torpedoes. Like, I know how to run the boat.
I'm the one who blows shit up. Yeah. Okay. And then Ward Bond's character. So, Pop, he was based on Commander Howard Gilmore, captain of the USS Growler. While attacking a Japanese convoy, the USS Growler rammed a Japanese convoy escort, which was attempting to ram her. The Japanese crew fired upon the bridge, killing 2 and wounding Gilmore and 2 others. Gilmore ordered clear the bridge, realizing that he could not get to below in time for the ship to escape, and shouted, "Take her down." As in the movie, the crew later surfaced but could not find Gilmore. For his sacrifice, he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor.
Nice.
And then finally, when I saw Patricia Neal come up on screen, I was pretty excited because she's not only an Academy Award winning actress, but she lived in Martha's Vineyard, as I said. And so, what other famous Martha's Vineyard celebrities would have been good in this film? How about Meg Ryan?
Oh,
beautiful
yeah.
Meg Ryan as Mary Stewart.
Sorry, Patricia O'Neill, you're out of here. We got Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan, cute as a button, America's sweetheart, Meg Ryan. What about John Belushi? He's buried there. Did you know that?
Really?
His grave's there. Yeah, John Belushi. Buried in Martha's Vineyard.
I would make John Belushi the young guy with the Confederate flag.
Sure. Okay. He may not appreciate that. Actually, I think save it for the next one. Michael J. Fox. Daughter's name is Aquina, one of the towns in Martha's Vineyard. He no longer has a house there, though. He sold
okay.
it. But Michael J. Fox, I feel like he makes sense as a young guy. Oh no, do you think he should be the baby?
He's too lovable, XO? To be like, oh hey,
babyface XO. Then how about that one? Yeah. What about Larry David and Ted Danson reuniting the Curb stars? Larry David and Ted Danson.
That is now Larry David is Poppy, and Ted Danson is Duke.
I think that's good. What else? Larry David is the other guy, Bob courting Mary Stewart, but Ted Danson is Duke. You got like a comedy. What about Obama?
Obama is Baby Butch.
Oh wow! I mean, that does make maybe some sense with the timing. And of course, Ed Harris, he actually founded one of the towns in the island. He called it Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. And it's very confusing. No one knows exactly where it is. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you can't even find it on the island. That's incredible. Obviously, I'm
not sure what you're talking about. So one of the... You're talking about Ed Harris as Duke?
He's Duke.
Yeah, but I think he's got to be like cooler. And I think Duke was like really closed off with his emotions. Ed Harris isn't like that. Ed Harris lets you into his heart.
He lets you know everything that's going on. But I agreed.
He would cry on Mary Stewart's shoulder. He would cry on anyone's shoulder.
And then I guess you'd have to throw out the whole love story because Mary Stewart would be like just sitting there waiting for Ed Harris to get back. She's like, where is my man?
Yeah.
Eddie. They'd have to change the name.
Never got divorced. He's like, you know what? My husband is emotionally open. And all the other wives are like, wow, I wish my husbands were as emotionally open as Ed Harris.
Yeah. That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
But alas, this is the movie we have.
And then we got to finish it off with our little Phantom Zone.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantoms engaged, sir.
All right. This is, again, it's been easy since I've collected so many of them. I feel like it's going to be a lot harder when I get to something like episode 69. If we do a porno, then how will I connect?
You're going to have to find a way, man.
People don't really work on pornos. I don't think it's possible. I think I might actually have to give that one up. I have to use something weird, like where it was produced. The country of origin. It's in English. And so is this submarine film.
Is there a Ron Jeremy submarine movie?
I do not believe so, unfortunately. So anyways, this is quite easy. John Wayne also starred in Harm's Way, as we have mentioned, which has Kirk Douglas. And obviously, we saw him as Ned Land in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And we can just go all the way through. This includes our boy, Teru Shimada. And it's funny, I checked John Wayne using my algorithm. It also popped out a film called Men Without Women from 1930. Yes. So he would have just been 23 years old when this came out. And the plot this is all the plot said on IMDb. Divers clear the torpedo tube of a sunken submarine.
Yep. That is one I have on my request list to try to get. Yes.
Really? Apparently he has an uncredited role as a radio man on the surface in that film.
Incredible.
That's it. That's all it says. So there we go. Phantom Zone.
We will have to try to stump you one day. There will have to be something.
That porno.
I think I might have something that possibly could, because it's from 1916 or something like that. You probably can. All righty. It's world.
worldwide. So, in Operation Pacific, as we mentioned during our recap, our boys were mercilessly crushing the Imperial Navy with a force that the world has never seen before. And while there were many montages of torpedoes blowing things up like crazy, it's kind of hard to tell, but we may have possibly seen a Sensho type submarine, also known as the RO-100 or the Co class. So these are Japanese World War II diesel electric submarines that were built from 1941 to 1944. There were 18 of them planned, 18 of them completed, and 18 of them destroyed. So they were 199.
None were made into museums, just to be clear. Because they were all destroyed.
There might be some a little later where we could work on it. They were 199 feet, 10 inches long. Like, dude, you couldn't possibly get 2 more inches and make it 200 feet long. What the hell? It just seems like a waste. That had a beam of 19 feet, 8 inches. For the engines, it had 2 500 horsepower diesel motors with 2 electric motors that drove separate screws, generating 760 horsepower. While surfaced, it could cruise along at 14.2 knots or 16.3 miles per hour. Submerged, 8 knots, which is 9.2 miles per hour. Only had a range of 3,500 nautical miles, while surfaced, submerged 60 nautical miles. Went down to a test depth of 246 feet, held 38 people. For weapons, it had 4 21-inch torpedo tubes in the bow and held a total of 8 torpedoes. That would not have been sufficient for our boys, as we saw them just unload torpedo after torpedo. It also could have held 2 Type 96 anti-aircraft guns or a 76.2 millimeter L40 AA gun. So, all of the boats, I kind of misspoke earlier, said all destroyed. All of them were lost, but one may be out there still. But, yeah.
What?
Well,
they don't know.
We'll talk about it. So these boats did not actually go quietly into the night. They did sink a number of U.S. ships. The USS Aludra was sunk by RO-103. USS Deimos was sunk by RO-103 on the same day as it sunk the other one, which I bet they were pretty jazzed. And the USS Henley was sunk by R-108. And the RMS Peshawar was also sunk. So the RO-13, the one that sunk 2 boats in one day, actually ended up going missing near the Solomon Islands. And there's no confirmed case, but it is thought that it was either sunk by a mine or a PT boat, which we know are obviously the best things on planet Earth. So if anyone knows anything about it, let us know. We'd love to tow it back to the Midwest and get a museum boat. You know, what the heck?
I'm going to be honest with you, with kind of like, we're probably not going to be able to tow that back. I'm not sure it's going to be shipworthy.
Might not be.
Or seaworthy. Because it's been on the bottom of the ocean for about 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. Yeah.
It could be a little rough.
But you know what? It's still worth trying. I'm not gonna denigrate your idea. So let's go do it.
Also, there is a kind of detailed log of the RO-103's journey up until it went missing. If you go to combinedfleet.com, you can find that on there. But again, when it goes missing near the Solomon Islands, it's just missing. What went down? I don't know. I do not know. But that's it for Subs Worldwide.
It's pretty good. I like it. Have we done a Japanese
one? We did have
before?
Japanese movie month.
Oh, so we probably did. It'd be fun if we did that one already.
I hope not.
So Mustard Man has been gone for 3 months now.
Backpacking across Europe.
On the
seeing
search
the world.
for news. And we know you guys want news. So we decided while he's out collecting, we will give you some trinkets that we have been able to find. Some good, some bad is what it is. So recently, there was actually quite a bombshell article of not great behavior by some submariners in the U.S. Navy.
I feel like you're understating
some
it, maybe.
Pretty horrible behavior. So there was a rape list created aboard a submarine. And basically what happened is with the integration of men and women into submarines, some of the guys were, I don't even know how to describe it. They created a list when all these women came on board the submarine. And at first it was a list with these like stars next to it. They had star ratings. And then after that, the list kept getting cruder and cruder. And then eventually there was one that was just like, hey, these are the things we want to do to these women. And
this sounds awful.
It's not great. It's really not. And the captain was even informed about it. And something that was also really weird is this list was showed by one of the guys. He took this list, one of the creators of this list, showed it to one of the female submariners. Like, how the hell is that? Do you think that's going to go over? That's like, what? Why? It seems crazy. I don't know why you would even do that. These people are insane. But
yeah, sounds like they might be a little off.
And so the captain found out about this, and basically he didn't want to like make it a formal report. Didn't want anything, bad to happen to his crew, although obviously something should have, and it is now. It's been found out. But they even have reports because this list was maintained on the computer system of the submarine somehow. They have him. Right.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So he was Googling how to find things on like the submarine server, trying to figure out how to find it, which is not like, what? Are you kidding me? But anyways, this is all blown up, obviously, as it should have. It's horrible. And we'll have to see how it plays out. There's a very interesting article on militarytime.com. This has just come out within the past couple days.
Wow.
It's really new. The article is very long, and I don't want to take anything away from it or misspeak on any of it, but it's very interesting and very crazy. I can't believe that happened. But we'll get away from that. That's sad. There's much better sub news out there. So, Jamie, have you heard of a ride-sharing program called Uber? Well,
never heard of it.
Fairly popular. And they have just unveiled.
What's ride sharing?
Good question. They have just unveiled a new service called Scuba, where you can go with another passenger on a submarine, and you hail the submarine from Uber, and it will take you on a tour of the Great Barrier Reef, and it costs about $1,000 to go. And currently, because this is so new, if you can get online, and there are companies giving away, there's contests to try to, give some free rides, free trips. You can go over to Australia and try that. So that is something that if you're over there, I would highly recommend checking out.
And this wasn't like an April Fool's joke?
No, this is very real. It seems like an April Fool's joke, right?
It does. It seems like it's fake. It seems like something that Uber would be like, this is our new thing. It's called Scuba. and you go into the down to the barrier reef or something, and then they'd be like, and we also got one called Spoober where you go up into space, and we also got this other one called Boober, and it's on bicycles, and everyone's like,
right,
wait, what? And like we also have another one, and it's called Ruber, and it's rollerblades. And so you hail some rollerblades, and then someone comes and gives you some rollerblades.
Sitting there waving at a corner. Rollerblades, please, 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 please.
And someone rollerblades up, but he's also carrying rollerblades and tosses you the rollerblades. And then you skate, and they guide you to where you're going. And at the end, they're like, will you pay me? It's like, well, I kind of did it all myself still. But yes, I'll pay you a little bit for the rental of these rollerblades. Thanks.
So that's pretty much it. We have other news. We will be dotting the newest episodes with some more stuff, but yeah,
because there's all kinds of stuff going on, right?
There's a lot going on right now. It's pretty crazy, and we don't want to like just gloss over anything. We want to be able to give you guys the full info, so we will keep it coming.
I wonder if you can get scuba going in like a river, or do you think it would be some kind of hazard?
You could try it,
because like there's a lot of cities with rivers and stuff, right?
It probably wouldn't be a submarine, though, if you're going to do that.
Why not? Why not, Kyle?
Not all.
Why not?
Very deep.
And we see these submarines go down, what, like 20 feet or something?
Yeah. Think about the river through our city. You think that would 20 feet? Not a chance. You can like see the bottom of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I could probably walk across it.
Yeah. So maybe not subs and all those.
Agree to disagree. Thanks for listening to Submersion. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating on iTunes.